evening. Hello. This is the first sort of video I've done for a while. Well, in fact, a long time. I sort of gave up on the scooter channel just because I found myself videoing more than I was actually doing. So what I've decided to do is sort of stick with my sort of Facebook page for my Beetle, which is here. What is going to follow is a quick sort of talk around of what I've found so far. Rust-wise, if you've followed the Facebook page, you'll see that I've pulled most of the wings and doors and stuff off. I'm going to try and keep these as brief as possible, and this is more for a sort of a record for me, and to sort of hopefully keep me motivated. There's a lot of work to do on the Beetle, so the videos will be less edited. There won't be a silly daft sort of special effects, as crap as they were anyway, and there won't be as much hopefully colourful language. I do tend to swear a little bit, for which I got told off by my mum. Sorry mum, I'm 40 years old, still getting told off. But yeah, so what's following will be, like I say, a quick rundown of what I've found so far with the Beetle. I'll stick this on my Facebook and I'll stick it on the on my YouTube channel as well, and hopefully try and follow me if you like. If not, I don't care. To be honest, it's more of a, like I said, it's more for a record for me. This is my shed-ratory, by the way. If you haven't been in it before, it's uber organised now. If I'll just follow me a second. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, this is the first video I've done for the Beetle. There's only so many things you can explain with a photograph. Good evening, everybody. Excuse the dirt. I'm assuming I haven't got a mirror. What you're looking at right here, I'll just explain, is my bug. And excuse the crappy camera angle. This is the bottom of the door. There, that's the door, which it was rusty. We knew that all along. Not too bad. This is the what we're looking at here is the heater channel, the bottom of the heater channel. And if you just get the light there, what you see there is what looks like a perfect seam, and that's because it is a perfect seam of folded steel. At the front edge here, there's been a sort of welded repair. Get the light on there. There you go. You see my finger there. There's a sort of welded repair all along the front edge there. I might be easy with that actually. So what they've done is the heater channels have rusted at some point in the past. I'm going to assume more than once, to be honest. And then what you've got here, so I keep moving the camera. My apologies. Is floor pan. Unfortunately, as you can see, the floor pan sort of rotted a little bit there. I've already cut this out. It's the aftermath is there on the floor. I was trying to undo these bolts in the floor pan. You can sort of see one there. That's a bolt hole. And back here you can see, if you can just about see it past the camera, you can just see the bolt there, which holds the body to the floor pan. Now, unfortunately, because they've welded a plate on top of the heater channel here, which is normally a sort of a flat box section bit underneath, they've welded the body to the chassis, which is in Volkswagen circles is a big fat no-no. I mean, for me it is anyway. I don't know about anybody else. It's a great big bodge. So what I've had to do is cut away the heater channel as best I can. You'll have to excuse that noise. That's a mate of mine messaging me. I've just sent him pictures of the catastrophe. So yeah, I haven't got a Mr. Meeseeks in here. I mean, that'd be great. Yeah, so I had to cut this piece away, which is normally a sort of, well, it normally looks like this. So yeah, so that's where I'm at the moment. I'm close to getting the body off now. I'm going to have to do the same the other side, I think. I'm going to try and make a sort of, it's really rotten at the back, to be honest. It sort of broke away as I was doing it, hence the grinder. What I'm going to do is try and do a sort of neat cut along there, as best I can, into this gap, which will free, hopefully, the body from the chassis, and then I'll be able to lift the body off. The rest of it is going pretty well, to be honest, and this is probably the worst rust on the body. So yeah, it's a shame because the heater channels inside are pretty solid, and I can buy this piece and the drop down piece as a repair panel, but I don't think I'm going to do that because if I come to the front, excuse the scrabbling around on the floor, If I come to the front, they've done pretty much the same along the front edge here. The heater channel's rusted through here, which I could reason I couldn't get this bolt out, which I'll cut off. But there's rust. There's still in. Unless you try and turn it, it just spins inside because obviously. Always wear safety gloves, by the way. Yeah, you can see that sort of rotted through where they've patched it a lot. I mean, it's not bad. It is a Volkswagen. You know, it's 47 years old, so some rust repairs. If I come round to, oh, it's comfy now. Come on, phone, focus, focus, focus. Oh, there you go. Yeah, if you see here, they've done the same here. They've sort of, this is all body, and they've welded it. And on the first appearances, it feels pretty solid, but it's not. It is solid, but only because it's heavy ass, MOT safe. Nobody's going to poke a screwdriver through that welding on top of rusty metal and inside, unfortunately. And some of these repairs here are pretty shocking. The A-pillar is solid on the outside, but on the inside, inside the door frame here, is going to need replacing at the bottom. You can just about see that, so that's not too bad. Only the bottom 3 inches of it are rusty, so that isn't too bad. Inner wing panel. This is going to need a repair. I'll buy a panel for that. I'll just pause the video a second. This is the spare wheel well. As you can see floor through it. The sides of it, apart from one little piece there, is all pretty solid, and it will all weld. I'm going to try and preserve as much of this original as I can. The bottom of it, I'm going to cut the plate off, the chassis plate there, and rivet that back on if I can. It's still got its original Marina Blue L54D paint code, which I shall keep. Yeah, there's the resembles the wiring, which is a bit of a shambles, so that'll stay. The front valance itself, although I'm going to cut it, I'm going to grind it back here, see what the rust's like, and hopefully save the front valance with a couple of patches. This is the front inner wing. Now it's got some kind of black, nasty pasty sort of old sort of Zybart material on it, but if I pull it back, it reveals really clean metal underneath. I'll just turn that down, cool as it is, a bit of fun kind of evening. Yeah, so I think this is sort of nasty as it is. I've preserved this is original 47-year-old Volkswagen paint, and you can't see, I haven't got smoother vision, but it's really smooth and nice. Disc drum brakes, which are oddly enough not rotted and not seized on. Front inner wing now. This is the same as the other one. You know, it is what it is. It's rusty, but you feel it. It's sort of solid, but it's a manky patch, and I'm going to cut it out because this should be floor pan. There should be a gap here between floor pan and body, and there's not. It's welded together, so I'll have to cut neatly, as neat as I can, as close to this seam all the way along with my grinder or my die cutter, straight the way to there, and at this whole inner panel here up to about here, where it's Volkswagen, non-Volkswagen. Yeah, this will all get sort of cut out and replaced. These haven't snapped off. The wing was rotten, so that's been cut away. This A-pillar here is pretty solid inside and out. Yeah, as you can see there, the A-pillar here is pretty good, and you can sort of see daylight through where I've started to cut. It's a shame about the heater channels rusting from the outside because they're pretty solid inside. It's just a shame because they're all original. They've got the original carpet trims, and I may, if I can, try and sort of preserve them, because this is under the door here. You can see I've still got some fairly solid, sort of solid metal apart from this bit. So I may cut this along and try and save that. This is the sort of the floor pan inside, apart from the bit where I've had at it with a grinder, and in that back corner there, it's all pretty solid. The middle of it's got its original sort of felt material still glued in places, so that's going to stay as it is. A bit back to the back of the wing here. The same again here. You can't really see it. There's no light, but it's the same. It's rotten, and this is possibly the worst repair of all. As I said, excuse me, I had to get the light. This is one of the worst sort of. I don't know how to say. It's not the worst repair I've ever seen, but you know, it's not unacceptable for an MOT, but only because the MOT guy would have only gone this way. The wing would sit here, cover up this plate. It looks like what they've done. I don't think it's an old repair. I don't think they bothered to try and get the wings off for the MOT. They left the wing on, shoved the metal in behind the gap in between the wing and the body. And the wing's obviously 12 bolts or 10 bolts, and just plated it really heavy duty, again, solid plate, and left this edge open. Obviously for an MOT repair, you need you can't have an open gap. If you can get a screwdriver in, it's a fail, but obviously with this gap being hidden by the wing here, as the wing comes down there, it wouldn't have failed. We've got the same again here. You've got sort of plate welded on top and folded over. This in the back corner. This should be a sort of nice round profile, I think. So yeah, this has been cut and plated on again inside. If you go inside the car, in fact, let's go inside the car. There we go. We're inside the car now. Put the light down. But yeah, you can see here the same sort of thing. You know, you've got this heavy duty plate, and I mean, it's all fairly solid, and we'll know for sure, you know, what's going on when I take when I get the body off. If it's just one thick bit of plate, I'll probably keep it. It's not going to be hidden. I'm not after concourse or anything like that. I don't want to go to Pebble Beach, not just because I don't live in America. So, you know, and then this is the sort of another bad bit really, is the bumper mounts. It's had a shunt at some point in the past. I know that because the valance was full of filler. There's like an inch of filler in the poor thing, and obviously the bumper mount itself is pretty manky, and so's the panel. I think the panel's about £40, which comes to sort of here or here. I'm not sure which way. And obviously I've got a broken bolt in there. When I took the wing off, this was patched, tagged on like sort of 3 sides. So I'm gonna probably replace the whole thing. It's not worth patching for the sake of a few quid. Although I could do if I needed to, and you know, a bit of wax oil on it, and nobody had been on the wide apart from me. So yeah, off to the engine bay. There's a slightly concerning amount of oil and grease sitting in the bell housing when I took the engine out, which I think is probably crankshaft oil seal. Put your teeth back in, Mel. Flywheel oil seal. So that'll get replaced again. Coming down to the bumper mount on the other side of it. This side is the same as that one. You know, manky. There's a little bit left of what used to be the valance attached to it still. As you can see, it looks a bit of an odd shape. This bit here and down there is valance material. I just haven't had time to remove it yet, or haven't bothered removing it. But it'll get cut off. The rest of the engine bay, to be fair, is pretty solid. There's no rot anywhere. There is some foam up in the rear quarters, which I believe is what kills off super beetles. The death foam, you can just see it there. But obviously, it's not been a super beetle. Hasn't suffered too badly. The only other sort of slight concern is this here. There. This bit of rust there. Mostly because it's the only bit of external bodywork that's really rusty, and it's not a great deal of it, to be honest. With my finger in there, you can't do it because of the torch, but it's just, you know, it's a sort of finger size, and I'm not really sure how I'm going to do this. I might have to wait until my welding's gotten really good, and sort of try and cut a piece here, cut a square of there, and sort of trim a triangle, or maybe get a body cut from another one, because it is a sort of, unfortunately, I mean, the base of it isn't. It is just this piece, I suppose. That'll be the last bit of tackle, I think, when I'm really confident when we're welding. So yeah, there you go. This is the driver's side door is the worst of them. Although it's not utterly rotten, it's sort of the welds underneath have broken away. There's a bit of a gap, so I think an inner panel will sort that out. Just there, sort of an inner panel will get that sorted. This is the dash. Again, classic Beetle. Some Muppets, obviously, in the past fitted a DIN size stereo. You can buy some sort of quite Gucci DIN stereos now. They'll look old school, so that'll do. I'm not after concourse, as I said, so I don't want a retro stereo. I can't like my music. The home button is here. because the cable inside the steering wheel, which is there, is broken. Ignore the foil, that's out of the Civic. And I've got sort of, I don't know what that, I think that was the washer motor. Now I'm going to probably remove that and drop it discreetly into the glove box, out of the way, into the ashtray or under the dashboard where you can't see it. So there you go. And onto the engine. This is the engine. Originally I was really concerned about the amount of what I considered end flow, but now the engine's out, and I've had a sort of proper play with it. It doesn't seem to be a great deal. It turns over freely. We've had it running when we first got the car, when I first got it. There's a couple of little bits that were not troubling me. We couldn't get it to idle properly on the drive. And the reason being, we think, or I think after looking, is that if you see the... I'm not very good with the torch, so if you look at the inlet manifold down there, the rubbers are really heavily perished. A load of the vacuum lines are sort of rotted and various bits and pieces. So hopefully it'll be a runner. It's an AR engine, so it's its original 1200 as far as I can tell, but it's on the document as a 1600. It would have been single port, but it's a 1600 twin port now, which is nice. Got a bit of tape over the top of the inlet manifold there, because the original carb that was on it was a 31 picked something, which is too small. Although the inlet opening is the right size, although this is the right size for the engine, the carb that was on was the original 1200 or 1300 carb, and was actually the inlet was the outlet for the manifold was actually a lot smaller, which couldn't have been helping it. It's got an 09 distributor with no vacuum advance. So I'll swap that hopefully if my budget goes to it for a proper used Volkswagen one or a rebuilt one, and hopefully then it'll be fandabidosi. Again, I'm going to clean all the tinware up, just paint it all black again, clean all the wheels and stuff up and give them a coat of paint. I'm not going to go for concourse, I want it to be a usable car. And this is my fire. You can hear the rhythm and blues in the background there, it's Radio 2 playing. The fire has died down. I've had a good 2 hours nearly in the garage this evening, so that's pretty good going for me. I've got quite a little bit done. I've got all the body bolts out now, bar 2, and the gear lever's got to come out. And then the next thing is going to be the It's going to be the body off. So yeah, I've tried not to swear during this. I haven't said or once, so that'll keep my mother happy.